Hello, viewers. Welcome to your channel Pharmacypedia. This is Dr. Shikha Chauhan, and in this session, we are going to discuss about the understanding the concept of prevention and control of disease. This topic has been taken from Module 1 of Social and Preventive Pharmacy. So, prevention is a step before your actual disease occurs, and prevention is a very important and critical steps so that disease does not occur. So, let us try to understand and figure about the concept of prevention and how to control the disease once it happens. So, if you have still not subscribed to my channel Pharmacypedia, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel Pharmacypedia for getting further updates and notifications about the pharmacy contents. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the prevention of disease, definition, what are the different approaches to prevention, what are the different levels of prevention. Again, this is very important. Levels of prevention for various kinds of dental disease, then concept of control of disease, how the disease needs to be controlled, how it can be eliminated and eradicated. And once it has been eradicated, then comes the monitoring and the surveillance part. So, my dear students, disease prevention is very important. Believe me, if we take and prevent the adequate risk factor which primarily cause the disease, we can prevent the disease. So, there are various risk factors which are associated, which are not being taken care before. And if adequately taken care of these factors, disease will not happen. So you can say the definition comprises that it is actually the activities which are designated to protect the patient and other members of the public from actual or potential health threats and their harmful consequences. So prevention comprises of the series of events, of the activities for which the ultimate aim is to protect the patient and other members from the harmful effect of the disease. Disease prevention also covers measures not only to prevent the occurrence of the disease but also includes risk factors reduction and also to arrest its progress and reduce its consequences once established. So it simply says, in simple words, you can say we take care of the adequate factors and risk so that disease does not happen. And by chance, if disease happen, the next step is to control the disease, to hinder the progress of the disease, and to eradicate the disease completely so that the hazards associated with the disease are being prevented out. Now, so it is rightly being said that prevention is better than cure. So for having the adequate prevention for any specific disease, we should know what are the causative factors. Now, how the disease is being spread, whether it is by the animal transmission, microorganism transmission, by air, or by contaminated water. And also at the same time, we need to identify what are the risk factor associated. Does the alcohol intake further aggregate it, or what are the predisposing factors? Also, we need to ensure about the availability of all the prophylactic and the earlier detection and treatment measures. And also at the same time, we need to ensure about the facilities for the treatment of these procedures, whether it requires any sort of the surgical processes or and evaluation and development of these processes. So prevention is the key to success. If we take adequate measures, we try to understand what are the causative factors, we try to understand what is the transmission mechanism for any specific disease, we can by her prevent the occurrence of the disease. Talking about the levels of preventions, my dear students, now we understand what is prevention. Next comes the different levels of the prevention. So it has been defined into four categories. First is the primordial prevention, then primary prevention, secondary prevention, tertiary prevention, and quaternary prevention. So very first stage is the primordial prevention. So the concept of prevention can be best defined in the context of levels of prevention. So how we need to take the prevention, for that we need to work it upon in different stages. So we have to start from the very beginning, from very at a very large scale, starting with the primordial prevention. So how many levels of prevention are there, that we are going to discuss in detail. So talking about the different levels of the prevention, it has been categorized like primordial. Primordial means at a very initial stage. You want to, suppose you want to prevent the spread of the contaminated water which causes cholera, or you want to prevent the spread of AIDS, or you want to any other cancer. So for that, the first is the primordial prevention. So if for a cancer patient, if the symptoms are being detected at a very earlier stage, it can be removed out, it can be eliminated, it can be taken care of very well. And for that, you need to take care of your body. You need to understand all the signs, symptoms being given out by the body, and that could be done by adequate test. So if every year every person is taking the test to ensure that there is no growth of the tumor, that will help in the prevention. So that comes into the part of the primordial prevention. Then comes the primary prevention, secondary prevention, and tertiary prevention, and quaternary prevention. Secondary prevention is the stage at which the disease has occurred, and it involves the starting of the treatment. Tertiary prevention is you are undertaking the treatment, but now the treatment has to be taken at an advanced scale. Quaternary, it is a further at an advanced stage. So, talking about the primordial prevention first, it is the prevention of emergence or development of risk factors in countries or population groups in which they have not yet appeared. For example, when the pandemic corona virus came in this world, it started with China and then slowly spread to the other countries. So, that is why, even though cases in India were not even in like two digits figures were not there, even one or two, the lockdown was being implicated. So that was the primordial prevention. Otherwise, it could have turned into disasters. So primordial prevention involve those activities whereby we are taking prior action before the disease is occurring. We are controlling the risk factors. Although there was no case in India, but even then lockdown took place at the initial stage, and that really helped out many poor people who could not even understand that criticality at that stage. So this is known as primordial prevention. So it consists of the actions and measures that inhibit the emergence and establishment of environmental, economic, social, and behavioral conditions, cultural patterns of living known to increase the risk of disease. Further, the primordial prevention is also associated with many chronic disease. So it involves the intervention, education, awareness, counseling. So it has to start in the childhood when health risk factors begin. So if we are providing the adequate education to the students in the secondary and senior secondary classes, it will also ensure that that will come into the category of the primordial prevention. So it includes all the national programs and policies on food and nutrition, against smoking and drugs, and also the promotion of regular physical activities. So primordial prevention, now you can understand, clearly includes those actions and steps which are taken prior before the onset of disease takes place. So it involves intervention and concept of positive health. You know the benefits of physical activity, so you are taking those steps before the disease occurrence takes place. Primary prevention, next is the primary. So it involves the approaches for primary prevention for chronic disease. So it talks about the population mass strategies. So this, again, prevention is at an advanced stage to the primordial prevention. It includes the whole nation, it includes the socio-economic, behavioral, and lifestyle changes which are being required so that disease does not occur. It also involves the high risk strategies to individual at high special risk. So it is at a large scale, it is at a population approach. So the best part about this is that it recognizes the influence of the society. It also talks about the risk reduction, which can be achieved at population level. It was also effective in dose response relationship of the disease. Now, the disadvantage with this approach is that it is less effective in situations where there is no dose response relationship. For example, when no symptoms appear, if you have some symptoms, then only you can start with the treatment. But in the case of corona, we found that many people were asymptomatic, so that was the harm, that they were the carriers and they were like a threat to the society. Now, the primary preventions also is due to in the phase of disease where specific causal factors causes the progression of the disease. So the target again is the total population, selected groups, and healthy individuals. So achievements of the primary prevention is that by controlling disease like cholera, typhoid, dysentery, plague, tuberculosis, by raising the standard of living. Now, why do these diseases occur? Because due to the undernutrition, or due to contaminated water, or due to unawareness about the cleanliness, hygiene issues. Then it overall involves a holistic approach. Now, what is holistic approach? That we have discussed in my previous session as well. So it should involve the modes of invention, it should involve the health promotion, awareness, counseling, and specific protection programs. So, health promotion is a part of the primary prevention. So, this is the process of enabling people to increase control over and to improve the health. So, it is not specifically directed against any particular disease. It is about the health promoting. You are raising the standards of cleanliness, personal hygiene, so that disease does not occur. And also, it involves the interventions where any specific sort of treatment is required. For example, if in a particular area there is prevalence of contaminated water, so the primary prevention will involve the techniques which can improve the quality of the water. Also about the health education awareness programs and nutritional interventions, whereby you are guiding mass population about the benefit of having the balanced diet. Because we have found that the staple crops which grow in particular area, people like to eat that frequently, but that again, due to the deficiency of micronutrients or due to vitamin deficiency or due to other nutrition deficiency, it may happen that diseases are still occurring. The reason is that not only that you are taking the diet properly, the reason is you are not taking the correct diet properly. And moreover, sometimes lifestyle changes and behavioral changes also impacts and prevents the progression of the disease. Now, once we have the health promotion, these values in the health promotion further helps you out in the control of the disease. So it is a better prevention technique. It's better to have the primary prevention, primordial prevention, so that disease does not happen. So it involves a full range of health determinants, full factor analysis, and full precaution to be taken care of so that disease does not happen. It also seeks to enhance the people's social participation and involves intersectoral collaborations. Now moving on to the specific protection. Now again, health promotion requires the specific protection. So it talks about the early diagnosis and specific promotions techniques, like if we in primary prevention, if we follow certain specific protection techniques such as immunization programs, chemoprophylaxis, or protection against the occupational hazards, protection against the accidents, protection from carcinogens, and avoidance of allergen, we can by far reduce the occurrence of the disease. So, specific protection along with the health promotion is a critical part of the primary prevention. Now, next moving to the secondary prevention. Now, this is the stage where a reoccurrence of disease happens. So, action which halts the progress of the disease at its initial stage and prevents complications. So, this is the beginning of the disease stage. You can say, in simple terms, the disease has started to begin because you have not taken care during the primordial prevention, during your primary prevention. So, at the secondary, the disease has started to develop. It is the domain of clinical medicine now. Now, the drawback is that the patient already subjected to mental anguish and physical pain, and it now hereby the treatment techniques are more expensive. So, talking about the secondary preventions, now what are the modes of approaches? What should be the interventions? The first intervention is the early diagnosis. So, the patient has to conducted with a number of screening tests and case finding programs. Adequate and prompt treatment, immediate prompt treatment is being required so that the disease progression does not take place. Now, what are the effects out of it? It seeks out unrecognized disease. You are aware that disease is there, but to far extent, how much extent of the disease is there that you don't know. It also provides treatment before irreversible changes occur. Sometimes a disease involved in lot many disabilities, so in that case again it becomes very important. So it also reverses the communicability of the infectious disease and protects community. So secondary prevention actually requires early detection and interventions of minor problems and challenges that occur in the home, school, work, and the communities. Now, talking further about the tertiary prevention, it involves all the measures which are available to reduce or limit the impairments and disabilities, minimize suffering caused by the existing departures from good health. So there was the main limitation is about the disability. There are certain diseases which can cause the impairments, disability, handicap. So that needs to be avoided out in the secondary prevention by taking immediate treatments. Now, rehabilitation programs are being run out in certain disease whereby the person requires the occupational therapy or the speech language therapy, so that this type of the disease progression does not take place and the disability is not created. So there are various sorts of rehabilitation programs which have to be chalked out at the secondary prevention stage, like medical restoration of the functioning, vocational, social, psychological. Now, what are the principles of tertiary prevention? It primarily focuses on the time recovery, restabilization, retraining, remotivation, resocialization, and reintegration. Now, last stage is the quaternary stage. Now, the disease has advanced to a higher stage. Now, the disease have progressed, and you need to take a number of measures to control it. So, the action taken to identify the patient at risk of over medication or to protect him from new medical invasion and with the new techniques which are ethically acceptable. So, quaternary prevention is the set of health activities to mitigate or avoid the consequences of unnecessary or excessive intervention of the health system. So once there are different types of the interventions being followed up, being taken care of, that is the only way by which you can actually reduce the chronic effects of the problem in an individual or a population. Next step, after the prevention comes the disease control. So now disease have happened and it is an advanced stage. Now you need to control it. So what should be the criteria? The first is about the, you should know how much extent there is reduction in the incidence of the, how fast it is spreading out, then duration of the disease, effect of the infection, both physical and psychosocial, financial burden to the community, and it should focus on the primary and the secondary intervention. So after disease control comes the eradication part. Now the disease is at control. In the initial of the corona, you might have seen it was spreading at an alarming rate at a very high speed. So the primary was to control it. Now once it is under control, the next step would be the eradication. So it simply follows all or none rule. So only one disease has been eradicated so far, that is smallpox. Other diseases which are on the path of eradication pathways are like polio, yaws, malaria, and measles. So once you have controlled it, you have eradicated it, then you the next task about the prevention is the monitoring part. So now you would monitor that in the last 10 years so many cases have happened, or like in the next 10 years what would be the scene on when it will be completely eradicated. So for that the monitoring is being done out. So the aim is to perform and analyze the routine measurements which are aimed at detecting changes in the environment or the health status of a population. For example, monitoring the air quality, water quality, growth, and nutritional status. And the last technique is about the surveillance. So surveillance is again very much important. So you are monitoring it, you have to regularly do the surveillance. It provides the information about the new and the changing trends in the health status of a population. It also at the same time provide the feedback which may be expected to modify the policies and the system, or to provide the timely warnings so that the public health disaster does not happen. Surveillance is a very important and critical part. So it is a continuous process which involves three primary activities. The first is the collection of the data, then meaningful analysis of the data, and third is the interpretation of the data. So these are the duties of the different healthcare professionals in surveillance. To identify the problem, then determine the source, then identify the exposed individual, specify the frequency, identify the populations which are experiencing the problem, and prepare and distribute the surveillance reports. So there are different types of the surveillance. First is the community-based surveillance, and second is the hospital-based surveillance, also known as the active surveillance and the passive surveillance. Then you should remember few points that prevention is, I would say, very important point is that prevention is the key to success. You should know the different levels of the prevention, and once you have done, then you should know how the disease have to be controlled, then how it has to be eradicated, then comes your measurements to actually do the surveillance part. And primary prevention is most effective and economical. Prevention can only be achieved in any stage of the disease. Disease control is also a part of prevention, and which is achieved by the means of continuous monitoring and surveillance of the disease. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel Pharmacy Pedia for getting further updates. Thank you so much, everyone.